But let's dive in. First things first, I'm assuming that you have OBS installed. So if you haven't, then go ahead and install OBS, which you can find a link for in the description below. The next thing that you need to have installed is something called iShowU Audio
So if you
Capture.
haven't,
Then what that's going to let us do OBS, which you can find a link
from
for
our computer
into OBS so that people that are watching your stream can hear
the next
what's
thing
actually
you need to
happening
have installed
on your
is
computer.
something called
So there's a link below.
Audio
Make sure you download the right version of your operating system. You can find from the links that I've put in the description below. Make sure that you're installing the right one, whether you're on Mojave, Catalina, or another operating system. Make sure you've got the right one and you've got it installed. And you'll know that you have it installed when you can see it as an option in here. So I can see iShowU Audio Capture just there. That's how you'll
Writing's not that easy, but Grammarly can help. This sentence is grammatically correct.
To be able to create a virtual camera using OBS is you're going to want to download OBS first. Windows Virtual Description Installer. I'll show you how to options do to set up your virtual camera. So the first thing I'm going to do for one, it's going to just say scene for you. You can right click on it and you can rename it, or you can just leave it called scene and then add another one, scene 2, and so forth. So I actually have a number of scenes set up here, which I'm going to hop over here real quick and show you guys. Notice I've got all these different scenes, things that I want to be able to do. So that's what's really cool about using OBS, is that I can set up different scenes and different effects that I want to happen inside of OBS and then be exported as my virtual camera. So let me hop back over here, most scenes, and let's set them up. You're going to add in your video camera. So I'm going to hit plus, and depending on what you're using, you can do a video capture device. It's going to be able to pull up your webcam if you have an external webcam or one that's built in. I'm going to use iOS camera. And as you can see, I've added in my camera here, and I'm going to click OK. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch this out so it fits in the entire frame. And you'll notice I've got a green screen behind me, and I want to be able to use the green screen effect. All I have to do is hit right click and click on filters. And I'm going to add a filter that says chroma key. And when I do that, it's going to automatically remove that background back there. And it did a pretty good job. So I'm going to click close, and it took out all the green that's behind me. And this is a pretty cool option. I want to do that. Not required, but it's something that I like. Pretty good, right? So now I'm going to go in and add a couple other elements. So I'm going to hit this plus, and I want to add in my background. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to upload an image, and I'm just going to call this on background. Click it. I've got a resource folder that I've got all sorts of different things here on my desktop. So I've already got my OBS streaming resources. So as you can see, I can add in a background, and it can be a video background or it could be a still background. And in this case, it's gonna put this in, and I want this to be my still background. I'm going to drag that image. It needs to be below the camera. So now I've got a background back there. It's kind of cool, right? So next up, I want to add in some other elements just to kind of add to this. So what I want to do next is I want to maybe add in my logo. So we're going to browse in that same folder. Notice I've got several different things I've saved. So I want to put my Tech Tips 411 logo on there. I can move it around. Can move me around. Here's the thing. These locks come in really handy. So if I lock that down, I can move this. Once I click on it, there we go. I can move it over here. How are we looking so far? Pretty cool, right? So I can add in all the elements that I want. I can put in overlays. I can say, hey, I want this to be here. I could add in a Genmoji. So let's do that really quick. I'm going to name these sources Genmoji. Click OK. And Genmoji can hang out there with me. So as you can see, I can add several different layers to this. And then I'm also going to add in that really cool animated background. So if you want to have the ability to have this animated border around your webcam, you can add it by creating an animated gradient border. So I'm going to put the link in the description so you can take this and create it. So you'll notice you can have it as a rectangle or as a circle. You can change the width and the height. If you need to, don't really worry about those, but really you're going to focus on whether you want two-tone, fade to white, black, or rainbow. And I like the rainbow option as well. The one that I have right now is actually a two-tone color, which is my Tech Tips 411 colors. So what I'm going to do here is I figure the one that I want, and then I'm going to go down here and I'm going to choose to get a URL. It's going to give me this. So you're going to want to copy that and you're going to paste it in to your OBS studio once you get it set up to add it to your scene. So I'm going to put the link in the description for you to grab this. It's a design option, and it just looks really, really, really cool inside of your OBS studio scenes. So you saw how I made a border that goes around, and I've saved that link. So now I'm going to go ahead and add it. So I'm going to hit that plus, and I'm going to choose to use a browser link. And I'm going to call this animated. Again, name them whatever you want, and I'm going to say animated border. Click OK, and I'm going to paste that link in. Click OK. And notice I need to move this around. So we're going to move Genmoji over here, and we're going to lock her so she doesn't move. So anything I don't want to go anywhere, I'm going to lock it, hit those locks. That means I'm not going to accidentally click on it and move it. So notice I've got this file here. This is not big enough by any means. So the trick is here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select the Alt key, and I'm going to drag this up here and over here a little bit more, bring it in. Close as I can get it. Okay. Now I'm going to drag these corners Drag it from the corner and drag it all the way around so that it fits. So see how these gray bars just popped up? That's telling frame, and that's perfectly fine. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to, there we go. Looks pretty good. And I'm going to leave it like that. And again, if I want to lock it so it doesn't go anywhere, I can do that. So this is how I've set up my scene with a couple of different elements to make this interesting. Now, once I've got it the way I want it, I'm going to turn on that virtual camera. So I'm going to go here, I'm going to choose tools, and I'm going to say virtual camera, and I'm going to make sure I've hit start. Now you can automatically have it auto start, that as soon as you open OBS, it knows to turn on that virtual camera. I don't think that it just depends on you. I don't have it auto start because not every time I turn on OBS am I actually using it as a virtual camera. Most of the time, yes, but I also use it for recording as well. So you can turn that on or off, but I'm going to go ahead and now it's a virtual camera. So now I've opened up Zoom. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the settings option. There we go. And I'm going to go to video, and you can see that this is what's showing through. This is what people are going to see when they look at me on a Zoom call. So what I've done is the camera is OBS. By default, this is my Logitech webcam, and this is the EOS webcam. This goes to my Canon camera if I want to use that as my camera. But if I turn it to OBS camera, it's bringing that in. Whatever I've set up in OBS is being pushed out, and that's what people are going to see. How cool is that? So several steps to it. Remember, you're going to download OBS. You're going to set up the scene with whatever you want. If you want to add this really cool animated border, I'm going to put the link in the description for that. You bring it in as a browser source. You can add in any video elements you want.